or any of the problems or issues that you have faced. So good morning, everybody. So all the time I was
Good morning.
speaking,
Good morning.
good morning. Good morning. So I was speaking for quite some time, for last 3-4 minutes. Then I realized I have not attached my headset to the
No,
PC.
but you were heard, sir. Actually I don't have any questions, but I'm not sure about the others. But yeah, you were
Okay.
heard. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
you're audible. So I was even adjusting my headset. So
Okay. Okay.
thanks. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Okay. So right now the number of participant is 4. So what is the
It is 14, sir. So I'm not sure on your
14?
screen.
Yes. Yes. It's 14. Actually, it's 14. So yes, 14. So at 10:10, I'm going to start. Just few more minutes. So make it round figure. So meanwhile, that's why I have raised this issue. If any one of you faced any problem, you can raise that, or else we are going to start with the new concepts as well as each of the associated problem now will be we are going to access a new some unexplored aspect of Kubernetes. So today possibly we are going to finish some uh, 25-30 questions of Kubernetes exam. Most of them will relate to the topics you have earlier covered, okay, like deployment. But what's the deployment? What kind of questions you can expect that the related to deployment, and few other additional concepts that we have not covered earlier. For example, daemon sets, etc. So those aspects will be covered here with actual exam related problems. Now, some of the questions you could be definitely sure there it would be there. For example, secrets related to questions related to secrets. You could be sure there would be 2 questions on that. Okay, and that's why I have stressed so much on the secrets part. Then there will be deployments. There will be 4 or 5 questions related to deployments. Okay, there are 2 questions related to PV, etc. And there will be a question on daemon set. There will be collectively it is expected to be the number of questions should be around 20 or so. So we will make sure that most of the questions are covered today, and rest few questions that are left that we are going to cover next Saturday and on the related chapters. And next Sunday, we will do a complete brush up of everything that we have done in Kubernetes, along with, if possible, with a mock exam here itself. Okay. So the questions are presented to you, and each of you collectively attempting the same or some set of questions, and how much time you are taking and what are the problems that you are facing, you are expected to share that with me. Okay. So I expect all of you to clear the Kubernetes examination in the very first attempt itself. That is the desired goal. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so as usual, I'll be sharing my screen. And my CubeMaster is yet to get started. Start, headless start, start, headless start, headless start. Okay. So that's it. Next, usually I log in from my console, and this console is 101. Okay. Okay. So just starting with a clean slate today, and we'll address the additional problems that we are create a service node port to access WordPress service. Up to this we have covered yesterday. Okay. Now, today this is the first problem. Create an Nginx pod named Nginx Resolver using image Nginx. Expose it internally with a service called Nginx Resolver service. Okay. Test that you are able to look up the service and pod names from within the cluster. Okay. Service DNS and DNS records for pod into this. Okay. So that means first you are going to create an Nginx service, expose it, and using another pod, because it says within the cluster. So the cluster itself will be another pod. So create another pod, and using that pod you are going to test using the nslookup command. Now, first we are going to create this pod, Nginx pod. Okay, create an Nginx pod called Nginx Resolver. Okay, so we can do this by using the command. What should be the command? kubectl run, then the title of it should be Nginx resolver, okay, and then minus image equals to Nginx, okay, as usual. Anything else? Okay, that's it. So created. So cube ctl get po. So Nginx resolver pod is running. Now how we can expose it? kubectl expose pod Nginx resolver. I have not typed it. It has automatically got the command completion. Okay. And name of the Nginx resolver is Nginx resolver service. Okay. So we need to put a name also, expose, and how to put a name to it. If I press tab, it is not giving me the option. Okay.
Hyphen
Will it
name.
hyphen name? Yes. The suggestion has come from hyphen name is this. Okay. And then you also expected to type
Port.
because otherwise it will, yes, port. Okay. Port equals to 80. Okay. So expose. So kubectl get, as we see, Kubernetes cluster IP resolver service. So hyphen name, common sense at once, that is doing a curl, and then this. Okay. Yes, we are getting our thank you for using Nginx. So we are getting our Nginx response as such. Okay. Now what this particular test that you are able to look into the service in the pod names from within the cluster. So we are going to create one more test pod. Okay, and that take NS lookup. There is a BusyBox image that has this NS lookup command built in. Okay, so you can run kubectl run, okay,
rm
minus rm
it. Okay, we'll do
minus it, that is also possible, or even we can log into it. So minus it
image
and then
hyphen
name BusyBox. So BusyBox, that is the name of the instance, and hyphen image equals to BusyBox. Okay, BusyBox. If you are going to use BusyBox, then we need, after the end of it, we need to execute a command. Let us execute sh. Okay. Now the problem is we have not verified some of the things earlier, that is Nginx resolver service. So this is the resolver service, this. Okay, whether the service is getting resolved or not, NS lookup command is there inside the container. Let us do NS lookup for this. Okay. Okay, NS lookup this address your name Nginx resolver service cluster. Okay, so the service is getting resolved. You are expected to store this in a file. Okay, so you are going to copy it somewhere, or thereafter we are going to reproduce it. If you do a control D from here, okay, so both our, this is these things are running. So we are going to create that file. Okay. According to the questions you are expecting. So it is resolving to that particular service. Okay. And what is the name of our pod? This is the Nginx resolver.service that is getting resolved, and it is resolving. If we ping it, it says that this is the service. Okay. Nginx resolver service that this is resolving to this. Okay. Next, what is the name of the pod? Name of the pod is Nginx resolver. So let us try to find out. Oh, pod already exists. Okay, sorry. So we should be doing an exec, not run. Okay. Got it. So ANS lookup, and then is this pod getting resolved? Cannot find. No, this pod is not getting resolved. Okay. So cannot find Nginx resolve. So the name of the pod is expected to be default. Cannot find default cluster local. What is the name it is resolving our service? Nginx resolver service, Nginx resolver service, and this is a service. What is the name of the pod in Nginx? Control D. Okay, Control L. Okay. kubectl describe pod Nginx resolver. Successfully default scheduler. This full image and Kubernetes secrets. Okay. CNI project. So that is the name of the Nginx resolver, and this Nginx resolver should default is getting deployed. Nginx resolver, that is the name, and that then it should get resolved into nginx.default. This, and it is not getting resolved. Okay. NS lookup Nginx resolver dash cannot find Nginx resolver default SBC cluster.local. At least the pod is not getting resolved. The IP is getting resolved is all right, but I am not getting this pod is not getting resolved. So what is going wrong? I'll investigate it later on. So I'll get back to you about this answer. So first part of the answer is ready. That is, you are expected to this one already executed 2 commands, isn't it? So first of all is this service. Okay, the service IP we have already stated here. What is that service? Yes, this is the service port. So if we are doing an NS lookup, it is correctly taking me to this. Okay, it is taking me that it is resolving to Nginx regular.service. Okay, this is the service, but this service should also okay, let us do an NS lookup to this. NS lookup to this. Cannot find Nginx resolver.local. No answer. Okay. So it is. Anyway. So this first part we should be saving in a file. This will be the file name for service. Okay. That is service records into this. and record for the pod. This part we have failed. I'll ascertain what is going wrong and I'll get back to you. Okay. So this question is per name of the number of the question, number 12. So is it 12? Okay. So there was some work in progress in 12 because initially the answer that I was creating that was not working as such. So this is the second part and this is working fine. But for service, this is the server, this is this Nginx resolver, NS lookup, Nginx resolver. NS lookup, Nginx resolver is not working for us, isn't it? Yes. So that is not working for us. So we'll see what is going wrong. Okay. Later on. And the pod, this default pod, default.pod, this will come from where? The busy box. Where is the pod? This pod, I'm not getting any such item like this. Okay, so first part of the question is answered, that is this, correct. This part of the question that is for pod, this is yet to be resolved. Okay, to be resolved, I am just putting this to be resolved. Okay, I am sharing today's question along with the solution and I'll also put this to be resolved. Okay, so the question is right now, let us get back to my chat, Pestwin. I hope everybody is with me.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Okay. So challenge text, I'm going to create a new challenge text today. So
it was already there. You can put it into the same. You set it for 1 week, right? Yep.
Okay, because that will.
It was for 1 week, so I guess it will work till next Saturday.
Next Saturday. Okay, so I need to. No, I can also extend that time to. Okay. Anyway, even if it is not working for next Saturday, by this Saturday, Sunday itself, you are going to consume it. Okay. So this is the 10th one, and this is the 11th one. Create a service tier type node port to access WordPress containers. Okay, this has not been written here. Create a service for node port. Okay. This is the 11th one. And 12th one is create an Nginx pod, and you are expected to save both of them in a file.
So you can mention it here as a partially done.
Yes. And the solution itself I'm posting and in the solution itself I have already noted this to be resolved. Okay. So this part is to be resolved. Okay. So what is not been resolved, I'll resolve it. Okay. Is it all right? Okay. So I am going to put today's solution. So we should create a fresh solution, or do you expect me to carry on with the same solution? Hello.
So continue with the same. We already have it, right? So better to leverage the same.
Okay, same challenge and solution 11.7 text, and next last one. 11 generate service record for WordPress page that has been done. Firefox node port typo. Okay, we need to edit this. I have not touched the edit. Okay, so here's our solution. Solution is kubectl run. And to be resolved, this has to be done. Okay. Okay, this is for 12. Okay, this is for 12. Okay, so done. So I'm saving changes. That's done. So how many of you are carrying on this exercise along with me? I would like to know a response. All of you are doing it?
I am not doing it, to be honest, because
Okay.
it's the pace which you are doing it. It's very difficult to go through all the documents by going tabbing and selecting.
Okay. Okay. So now later on, if you face a problem, how do you sort it out? I mean, uh, if it's not happening for me because happening for you, because that's the way I want it to be. Because if you face a problem and you raise a question, and so that collectively we in the classroom can sort it out. Okay. So that's the better way of doing things. Okay.
No, sir, we could do it. That's not a
So
problem. But if you give some time to particularly, yeah.
yes, I will give it. Yes, yes. It's no problem at all. For example, I have done it right now. Both the solution and the paste page is there. Okay. Let's assume 10 minutes. Is it all right?
Yep.
That makes sense. So I'll just give the 10 minutes. Absolutely no issues. Okay.
Sure.
So that we can carry on, so that it should not be a one-way interaction. I hope everybody is in sync. Our problem today that I have already stated, the problem is right now here. This is the problem scenario number 12. Okay. In order to concentrate, let you concentrate on the problem only and nothing else. This is the problem. Okay. This is the problem we are trying to, sorry. We are trying to sort out right now. And the solution we have already stated. Okay.
Sir, so is it, so according to this question, should it be resolving the exact pod name matching with, I mean, if we do the NSLookup for that IP address? Because for me also it says Nginx resolver minus service. So it should be a pod
Actually,
instead
first
of
of all,
service. Is it?
you try to resolve this, that is the IP address, that is the service that it is creating. Okay. Just the way you can see that it is creating one service. Okay. First of all, if you just take a look at, yes, SVC, if you do an SVC, it will show you an SVC IP address. This just try to, if we run this, it should point out to your service pod or SVC, service IP. Okay. So if I do an NS lookup of this, that is NS lookup of this, it is showing name Nginx service. Okay, address ARPA reverse is this, and this is it. Nginx resolver service default dot local. Okay. If we do a forward this thing NS lookup. Okay. Okay. That forward lookup server this Nginx resolve, that is not happening. Even for pod also, if you are trying to do that,
For me,
that is not
it
happening.
actually resolves, though for the name, I get the same IP address as per my pod or as per my service. Okay, but still I'm seeing that can't find Nginx resolver minus
So-
service dot default.
So if I do an NS lookup here, the pod name is Nginx resolver, isn't
yes,
it? Hello. So if I run this command, so server address this, but I am not getting any
Okay,
response
so
for
I'm
that.
just pinging my response.
Okay,
on
okay,
the chat
great.
window
So
here.
if somebody is getting that, that would be something
So it's
interesting.
actually
Okay.
resolving it, but it's not able to. I think still getting that unable to resolve. Can't find Nginx resolver.
So this lookup Nginx resolver name Nginx address Jude 59. Okay, yes, it is resolving. In your case, if you are trying to find out Nginx service, this is the NS lookup. This is the for the server pod. Okay.
And this
Okay,
is the reverse lookup.
and this is the reverse lookup. Okay. 15 dot this. Yes, this is the reverse lookup is happening. Forward lookup, it appears to be happening because address is 159 and 00 address is 10.159, which is the IP of the your this. For your case it is happening. It is telling me that, but in my case it is not even happening that way. Okay, you are getting a server address this NS lookup don't address or pi equals to this 159.10.159. You are getting this output. I am not getting this output for for some reason. Okay, so if you are getting this output, okay, your final answer should be copying this and pasting it the specified place where you are getting this. That is for service record opt service.dns, and for pod record, that is the reverse. So this one, just put it forward and reverse. Both the responses should be put here in these files. That's all. Okay.
Okay.
So whatever be the response that you are getting, one to the service and one to the one is in my case reverse lookup is happening, forward lookup is not happening. Okay, so whatever response that you are getting, you are going expected to paste it in your.
Okay, so in the same shell of BusyBox, I need to redirect the record to a specific file which was showing there.
No, actually it is not possible, because the moment if you redirect it to a specific file, you can redirect that too, because I am not really too sure whether it has to be redirected there. You can do that, OPT service DNS. Okay, you can do that. Non-existent directory, it is not there. So whatever be the directory that is there, you can press tab var bin. Okay, it could be something like that. I think the moment you get out of this, if this pod is destroyed, these files, during the examination, either they will point out to a pod or directory which is already existent here. Okay, possibly it could be bar something or temp something, or else it has to be stored in a file inside the control login terminal itself, in a file in the terminal. So whatever be the required result, you can do that, isn't it? Let's assume the file has to be saved in, instead of opt this, it should be saved in, let us assume temp. Okay, then /srv/.dns. Okay, so you can do this. So this way it will be redirected to that file. Now you can do a cat of this file. Okay, so it all depends on what the examination, in the examination, what they're going to ask. If this has to be saved on a local system, it will be saved on the local system, or in the resolver pod itself, it will be saved in the resolver pod.
Okay.
So whatever be the, if it is on a local system, copy it, paste it in a file on the local system. If it has to be stored in the resolver pod, then paste it there inside it. Okay.
And if they ask you to save it to a local system, so
That is not possible. From the pod, you cannot write something on the local. So you have to copy the output from here and paste it using creating a new file on the local system. Okay.
all right.
Okay. Okay. I'm just taking 5 minutes break for others so that everybody can complete. Later on. The thing is, whenever you attempt such problems, in majority of the cases, make sure you have opened kubernetes.io. Okay, and there in the documentation section, try to find out similar terms. Okay, that means this is the problem that we're trying. We are trying to do an NS lookup using BusyBox. So you can try to find out whether some similar example is there, okay, in Kubernetes documentation itself. More often than not, you'll find out that debugging DNS resolution Kubernetes, okay? So you can try this. You can try to open it up, okay? So in fact, many of the things that we are doing here in the classroom, okay, DNS utils YAML, apply this, okay, kubeexec, DNS utils, NS lookup, Kubernetes default, okay. So DNS utils, NS lookup, Kubernetes.default, okay, Kubernetes.default it is doing. Check the DNS configuration, DNS utils, etc resolved, mighty NS lookup, Kubernetes.default, okay. So kube DNS kube system SVC, DNS lookup, app kube system, check for errors in the DNS pod. Is the DNS service up? So this is one example, but we are not getting our reference to this DNS resolution. Once the pod is running, you can exec NS lookup in that environment in DNS utils. NS lookup Kubernetes default can resolve. So, I mean, each of the problems that you get to see during the examination, possibly you are likely to get, okay? So you are likely to get a similar answer to it. Okay, here it is. So exec TINS lookup Kubernetes default. Okay, Kubernetes default. DNS pod is running. So at least you get to see similar examples, and using these examples, you can pretty much sort out most of the problems that you face. And in my exercises also, and the exam question and problems that I'm going to expose you to today, I will be trying to sort out or solve each of the problems in this fashion. Okay. Make sense?
Yes, sir. Can we get that question pasted in the paste bin?
Paste bin, I have already pasted it.
Oh, have you? Yeah, because the link is, I think it was
okay. It is
yesterday's
not available.
link. Yeah, yeah.
Yesterday's link only. Challenge. The challenge text is here, and challenge text I have already tested it. Create an engine export. Yes, it is already pasted. So can you refresh your page?
Yeah, can you the URL, can you just paste it if you don't mind on the chat?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I should be doing that actually. Yeah. Why you have to prompt me every day? I should be doing it automatically. Okay, sorry. So
no problems.
Is it changing every day? This URL is changing?
No, it's my fault. I couldn't find yesterday's URL.
Okay, it's all right. So if you couldn't, so you raise the question to me. That makes sense. You should be doing that only. Okay.
Sir,
fine.
for the solution solution we have mentioned for that expose deployment. Can you just make the change there to pod?
Can you make the change to the pod? Means in the solution or?
Yeah, in the solution. Yeah.
Okay. In the solution page is this one. Okay. In the solution itself, uh, now this is going to be very long. So each time I open it, I'll have to scroll down and it will take a lot of time. So that's why I was trying to create a new page today. Anyway, so generate, this is one. Yes. kubectl expose deployment minus nginx minus port 80. What is there you want?
So it didn't have a deployment. We have to use pod there, right?
Yes.
Because
Sorry. Why did I type deployment? Thank you.
you have used the deployment file to deploy the BusyBox, or maybe.
Where from this has come? Actually, this is error in the document, solution document
Yeah, you
itself.
make the changes there and append it here later if you want.
Yes. Now I'll make the change there also. But right now, because everybody is referring to this one, so I'll make sure. Thank you for pointing it out. Actually, it should be pod. Okay, because there is no deployment involved. When you run a kubectl run, it is more or less like Docker run. Okay, Docker run alternative. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to change the publish it like this, save changes. Thank you. Thank you for pointing it out. I should be also be making the change in. Okay, yes. Expose pod. Okay, fine. So that sorts out our, this is solution 12. Okay, or where did I make the solution? Did I make it a solution 12? Yes, it is solution 12. Great. So next we come down to our next problem, that is problem number 13. Okay. So whenever I am creating these spaces so that you can precisely concentrate on the same problem, create a deployment called Nginx deployment with Nginx version 1.16 with replica. Upgrade your deployment to 1.17 and roll back your previous image to this. Okay. So while doing this exercise, you are particularly expected to use a term. Okay. That is registering, so that you can register it. Okay. So this is the term I'll be expecting all of you. Minus record when you are upgrading, rolling up and rolling back. Okay. And I will also show you how this is recorded. Okay. So let's get down to business. The solution itself is very simple. I'll refer to the solution. This is the kubectl create deployment. Okay. And once you have created the deployment, then these are the command sets that you, okay. So you have already created deployment earlier, isn't it? On the first session itself?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So the command itself will be kubectl then create deployment. Name of the deployment, what is the question? It says deployment nginx this. Okay. This. And then the image with nginx 1.16. Okay. Minus image equals to nginx 1.16. Okay. This is it, or anything else that you are missing? One replica, you don't bother about this, because by default the number of replica is always 1. Okay, unless you specify. Okay, so hopefully this is going to create our deployment. The OC create deployment nginx. Okay, so kubectl So here it is, kubectl get PO. Okay, so Nginx this Nginx resolver and this two we don't want them, so let's delete them. Okay, kubectl delete PO because I don't want disturbances. Okay, I need to delete the SVC also. So kubectl delete SVC. Okay. So now our deployment is ready. We expect our pod is also ready. kubectl get PO. So our pod is also ready. So here is our, because we have created a deployment, so we are getting a name, something like this. When you run kubectl run, it is like Docker run. You only get this. When you run a deployment, you also get additional these things. Why? Because the moment if you are using deployment, then if by any chance, if this one is deleted, again a fresh pod will come up and the new pod will have a different name and this appendix part will change for the new pod. So that's the difference between a deployment and a run kind of thing. Run only creates the pod and it doesn't create a deployment. Now that the deployment has been created, you can get some details about this pod, describe PO, so you can see container image Nginx already present on the machine. So it has been created using Nginx 1.16. So we are sure the image has been created using Nginx 17. Okay, so great. So next we are expected to upgrade this using upgrade your deployment to Nginx 1.17. Okay, that you have upgraded, that has to be recorded, and you have downgraded, that will also has to be recorded. So we will create the set image deployment Nginx deploy and Nginx 17 and minus record. When you do this record, what really happens, that we'll see later on. So now we are changing the deployment and we are passing on a parameter set image deployment. Okay, so right now we are going to pass on this parameter kubectl set, then image. You get whatever you can set image, then deployment, not sorry, it is not deployment, it is not doing a command completion. Next, what it is expecting, okay, it should image deployment Nginx, okay, why it is not taking a deployment completion. Okay, anyway, usually I depend on command completion. Deployment, press type deployment, it is not doing showing me a deployment. Set image deployment. What is the name of our deployment? The name of our deployment was Nginx deploy, or what is the name of the deployment?
Nginx
Yes, Nginx deployment.
deployment.
Yes, Nginx deployment only. Okay, so image Nginx deployment, and then minus image Nginx equals to this, and deploy Nginx equals to Nginx 1.17. Okay, I'm not really too sure about this parameter, that is Nginx is equal to 1.17 and then minus record. Okay, image updated. Okay, so that should create a new deployment. So if you do a kubectl get PO, the new deployment should come up. Get PO, new pod should come up. Sorry, not deployment. Is it a new pod? Yes, appears to be a new pod. If we do a kubectl. Next, you are expected to run this rollout history. Okay, kubectl rollout history deployment nginx. This command should show you what is the command that you have run. Okay, I usually forget these commands. Okay, so if you forget this command, what do you do? Rollout history, rollout nginx deploy. Okay,
Yeah, deployment, nginx hyphen deployment.
okay, nginx hyphen deployment. If I do a deployment and then press tab, then it gives me a better result, isn't it? So I don't have to type that. So that's a better way of doing it. Nginx rollout. So kubectl set image. This is the, because if you put the minus minus record equals to true, then you will get this command. If you don't put this minus minus record equals to true, then you are not going to get this. Okay. So rollout history, you will get it. So now if you roll down, then also there also you should be putting this. Now kubectl describe deployment in grep minus I image. Okay, so that you can do. Nginx deployment. No, describe deployment. Control K, press tab, nginx deployment. Okay.
So you need to use
Yes, grep minus
kubectl.
I, the image name. I have not put anything in front. Okay. Grep
So
minus
you
I.
need to put describe deployments dot apps, then nginx deployment.
No, if it is it will give me the same result. No problem there. Actually, I was not putting this grep minus I image. So that is the error I was doing. Okay, grep minus I image. So yes. So you see that so command is all right. Okay. Only thing is that in the previous command, I was not writing the grep minus I image. Somewhere here in the document also there must be something wrong. Okay, I have copied it.
We can
Image
use the
pool.
format hyphen format
Image
also,
pool
right?
policy. Yes. So image pool policy, image pool policy. Okay. I don't think this is this much amount I should be typing anyway. So you are better off doing this minus grep minus I image, and the image itself is already telling me this. Okay. Image is nginx 7. Okay. 1.17. So you are getting this. That's all. Okay. So this documentation itself, image pool policy, is somewhere something wrong here. Okay. While doing a copying pasting, I have pasted something here, something different. Anyway, so everybody is in sync up to this. We have created a deployment, then we have upgraded that deployment. Okay. That is, we have set the image version to a higher version. So that's why it is a rollout. Then we have seen whether the rollout has really taken place or not. Okay. And now finally, we are going to whether the pods are ready or not. So that is also you should be doing at least once to make sure everything is working fine. The image version is accessible or not. kubectl get PO. At least our version is correct. Yes, it is up and running. Next, you are expected again to roll out undo, means roll it back to its previous state. Okay. So let's now run the second command, that is rollout undo deployment nginx, and run this command. Okay. Minus minus record, it is not willing to take this minus minus record here. Okay. So we cannot use the record part here. Okay, no, it is the
Nginx
deployment.
deployment, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So minus minus, that is the problem. Okay, minus minus record. Minus minus record, it is not going to accept when you are undoing a deployment.
Is it deployment or deployments? Yeah, it's same.
Deployments, it is, you can use both of them, no issues. Okay. Uh, now, uh, now if we take a look at rollout history command, describe deployment, rollout history, Nginx deployment. So this record has been true, correct, change cause, okay, but the second part, we are not really too sure, but again, we can find out whether that has come or not. So control R, grep grep, control L, let's see, yes, it has come back again to 1.16, okay. So when you do a rollout undo deployment, then basically it comes back to the previous version. Okay. So now where from in the examination you may not find your solution paste, etc. in pastebin. So kubectl rollout. Okay. So sorry, you just find out rollout. Okay. And you can also type minus record just to find out all the pages that has this. Okay. kubectl rollout record, kubectl kube deployments, kubectl. Okay. So all the kubectl rollouts related commands will be available here. So control F, do a rollout. There are other pages also that will relate to perform rollback on daemon sets, stateful deployments, kubectl records, rollout Kubernetes deployment if the deployment fails. Okay. So no, not here. This is also in Kubernetes IO deployment. So anyway, you can search them these commands readily available. That is spelling is something like this:
CHEAT.
CHEAT. Cheat sheet. Let me find out. Yes, kubectl cheat sheet. This is one page where you get all the commands available consolidated in one place. Okay. So majority of the things that the commands that you are going to run during your examination, you can very well refer to this page also. Okay. Control F, roll out. Okay. Sorry. Roll out. Okay. Here it is. You are getting all the commands here. Okay. Undo deployment. Okay. Roll out history, roll out undo, roll out restart. Okay. Image, set image deployment front end minus ww equals to image v2. Okay. So all the commands related to rollout, updating resources, the exercise that have just done right now, most of the commands are available here. Okay. So please remember this command, that is this search page, kubectl cheat sheet. Okay. Majority of the commands that you are going to execute, almost all the commands are available in the cheat sheet. Okay. And from the cheat sheet itself, you can get many of the default, many of the YAML format also. Okay. From this cheat sheet itself. And it is a very useful resources. Later on, I'm going to refer to the cheat sheet again with reference to some other exercise which are coming up very shortly. Okay. Okay. Editing resources, deleting resources, pretty much everything. So you can get all the commands if you are trying to find out logs, etc., trying to attach to a pod, all the commands that is possible. And this page is continuously getting updated and in the process getting inflated as new functionalities are getting built onto Kubernetes feature itself. Okay, so first thing I should be doing, I should be updating the question and answer in the cheat sheet, isn't it? So let us get back to our cheat sheet. This is what? This is the this is the solution page. So I need to make again, it is writable, edit. And then first I am doing the solution first, then because the solution page is already open. Now I am confirming you these questions you are likely to get. Okay. That is creating a deployment, upgrading the deployment, downgrading the deployment. Okay. That is rollout and rollout undo. This exercise you are definitely will get in the examination. Okay. Because there is one question associated with rollout, and more or less it would be the same, the one that you are seeing right now. Sorry, create a deployment kubectl. Why did I just come up with 13? Oh, okay. So the one has not come up. Okay. So I'm saving it, save changes, and I'm also pasting the URL also in our chat. Copy. Okay. Now the question of page also has to be updated. That is the challenge text. So challenge has also to be updated. Now, if the question says create a deployment in namespace, let's assume namespace something, okay, in a different namespace, what do? For example, some of
We
the
create a namespace first, right?
Yes. So we create a namespace first, and thereafter, which every command we should be putting at the end a -n namespace name. Okay. That means first we create a namespace. Now, right now, kubectl, if the question suggests that you should be doing everything on a new namespace or create everything in a namespace, kubectl create namespace. Okay. And testing. Okay.
Say,
Let's assume.
can't you change the context and then do this question and come out of it? Sorry.
Uh, your question is basically you are expecting me to complete this question first.
No. My question is, when you create a namespace, you
Yes.
said that after each command you put -n to point to that namespace, but instead of that, if I change the context and then come out of it, is that a good idea or no?
That's a good idea if you are coming from OpenShift. Okay. Okay. Because in OpenShift, if you have done OpenShift OC new project, and it automatically switches you to the new project.
Correct.
So if you are accustomed to that workflow, then switch context and context name of the new namespace. Okay. But sometimes it so happens if some of the things are in OpenShift, in Kubernetes, majority of the things are going to be done in the current context only. Okay. So in the current the default namespace or whatever you are, there you are expected to do everything. Okay. So if at all, if you have to switch to another cluster altogether, all those commands will be available in the command line itself during the examination. So don't try too many things. I'll be suggesting that. Okay. Because as it is, you will have to switch to some of the other context to change the cluster itself.
Okay? In short, avoid complication.
Yes. Avoid complication and confusion too. Okay, at least if you are putting this -n all the time, you know that I am going to execute inside that namespace. Okay.
Sure.
So anyway, I'm going to delete this namespace. Okay, so this is the rollout question that I was talking about, and the two problems that we have sorted out today. I don't know how many problems we have done today. Two, isn't it? Both of them are confirmed in the examination because these are the questions that are always posed. Not that the problems that you have done earlier, they are not confirmed. For example, that init container that you have done, that is confirmed. Secrets, there are two questions that is confirmed. So I'm going to show you one more secrets exercise, or one or two, because there are two from secrets itself. Okay, so from now on, most of the exercises that you are going to do, you will find that you have already done them. Okay, so you have already some aspect of it already you have done them. Okay, so let's get down to our next problem. Okay, create a static pod. Now, what is a static pod? First thing you should be asking is, what is a static pod? Okay, what is static pod? In fact, whenever you install Kubernetes, by default it creates a file that is mentioned in etc Kubernetes and manifests all the YAML files that are put here. They are to do with static YAML. Okay, static pods. What does it mean? If these files are here, Kubernetes will make sure the pod associated with them should always be running on this particular node. Okay, that means this particular folder is node specific, and this folder specifies the pods which are expected to run all the time on this particular node. These pods are node specific. Are you getting my point? So a static pod always related to a particular node. Okay. And the static pod command itself, that static pod has to be enabled, that is already enabled in one file. If I remember, it is something in cat var lib somewhere there, var lib Kubernetes, okay, kubelet. What is the name of that file? Anyway, I'll remember that I have already pointed out in the documentation. I don't remember. I have in the documentation, yes, var lib kubelet config.yaml. So there is a config.yaml is expected to be here. Okay. If that config.yaml is not there, don't worry. Permission denied. That's why it is not happening. Okay. Because I am not root. So that's why it was not showing me. So I was getting no such error. Okay. No such directory here. Okay. So config.yaml is not there, and the following etc Kubernetes following static pod path var lib kubelet config.yaml. Now you are expected to create a config static pod on the node, that is node 1. Let's find out and log into a node, and whether that file is there in the node. Control D. Let me log into node 1. In our case, it is worker 1. Let's find it out. Okay. Control L. And let us find out this command works here on the node also or not. Okay. No such file or directory. Okay. Static pod. Then where it could be. anyway, the static pod reference line is always there. There should be a static pod path line. Okay, etc Kubernetes manifests. This line is somewhere there in a configuration file. Okay, let's find out from Kubernetes documentation itself. Okay, static pod. Create a static pod. Okay, this is static pods are managed directly by kubelet daemon, okay, and a specific node without the API server. So they are directly managed by kubelet daemon. So kubelet always runs on a node because they are directly creating them. So it has to be there in etc kubelet.d. Where this, no, it is not there. The kubelet configuration file. Yes, this is the one I was trying to find out, and we are failing it. Okay, kubelet configuration file, we can also try to find out like this: sudo -i, and if I try to find out system cartel status kubelet etc Kubernetes bootstrap. Okay, Kubernetes service enabled Kubernetes bootstrap kubelet q status -l.
Maybe a which command which will actually point out to config file.
In fact, in the kubelet command itself, it is kubeadm.conf etc systemd kubeadm.conf. So
it's there in varlib kubelet config.yaml.
It is there.
Yeah.
Varlib. Can you see in my screen itself?
On your screen, I don't see that.
On your my system, you don't see that. Okay. On it is var kubelet, varlib kubelet config.yaml is there on your system. Hello.
Yeah. So if I run the status for kubelet, I see that config file is residing under varlib. Let me check that if file exists. Yes,
for
it's
me
there on my system.
On my system, it is not there. Kubelet folder is there, and there within that, yes, config.yaml is here. So cat, yes, it is there. So why it is not working on the other one? If I
Sir, it is YAML, that is YML.
Okay, I am typing all the time. So the obvious errors are sometimes missing. Okay, so here you will find there is a static pod command path. Static pod path is already there defined. Okay, I just wanted to show you this line. Okay, so whenever you create a static pod, the system has already defined a static pod path. So all the static pods that are to be created, their YAML configuration files are to be created in this particular folder. Okay, so here also on this system, so there's something, some of the things are so obvious. Okay, so static pod path is already predefined. So whenever you want to create a static pod, you are expected to create a YAML file right here in this path, that is etc Kubernetes manifests. Now take a look at the question itself. We are expected to create a static pod where? We are expected to create a static pod in node 1, which is basically in our case, worker 1. Okay. On that worker 1, we are expected to create a static pod. First of all, we need to create a what? YAML file. So how could we make sure a YAML file is generated? First of all, we need to make a dry run, and using that dry run, we can generate the YAML file as such. Okay. So the command itself is something like this: kubectl run -- generator run pod v1. Now, if you find this generator and what is this, there you can search it in Kubernetes as such. Okay. So why and under what circumstances you should be using this generator parameter at all. Even if you do not run it, usually when you do a -- dry run, you should run this generator version 1 so that you can fix the version 2. Okay. Run pod v1 specially used when you are using the dry run parameter. Okay. So first of all, this command will not work on your worker node. Okay, because worker node itself, there you don't have the kubectl command pre-configured. Okay, so you cannot do this on your worker node. So what you have to do, you should be running this command kubectl. Okay, kubectl, then run Now, if I forget this, run pod v1, okay, the first thing, run pod generator, run pod v1, I'm copying pasting from here. How can you do that? Okay, so you can do it here. Okay, you can type -- generator. Okay, okay, that will take you to, or you can even type run pod. Okay, you can even type run pod. run run dash pod, okay, slash. That will also bring that result. Okay, kubectl, okay, my pod logs -m. Kubectl cheat sheet is already there. Okay, Control F -- generator. Okay, so I'm not getting that generator as such. Okay, anyway. So it is not here. Search, usage convention, autoscaler, search results, kubectl -i label pod dump pod. -- generator flag to pin to a specific behavior when you use the generator based commands. Okay, so you can open this page and you can find out what it is like. Best practice, kubectl boot run, kubectl run -- generator run pod v1. Okay, you can create the following resource using kubectl run and with the -- generator flag. So you can create a pod using this kubectl run generator this. So the command itself is right here available at your disposal. So in the examination, let's assume the parameter that I am typing here, kubectl run -- generator. This itself, the entire command is available from where? I have picked it up from kubectl documentation itself. The workflow is you are expected to search the generator, and in the generator you will find there is a -- generator flag. Okay, so here itself you can find it. Okay, so using this kubernetes.io documentation is critical for remembering each and every command. You need to practice in your own controlled environment n number of commands, these command sets. Okay, I hope you understood. In fact, even I am not running this command regularly. I am forgetting all the time. Okay, so if this documentation is not there, usually I am seeking help from this Kubernetes cheat sheet page or Kubernetes.io documentation page. Okay. And usually I try to create a scenario where I also face the problem, so that when I start troubleshooting the problem myself, you also understand how to sort out the issues. Okay, because the solution will be not at your disposal when you are attending the examination. Minus minus generator will not do a command completion, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm going to copy it from here. Minus minus run generator critical dry run -o YAML and redirecting it to a file, critical.yaml. Anyway, whatever be the name, that doesn't make any difference, but I don't want to type anymore. Okay. So this is the command kubectl run generator. Let me paste the problem first so that you can get to see the problem itself and start solving the solution too, along with me. Here the challenge set. Okay, here is the problem. So I just save changes. And next on the solution also, let us do the solution first, then I'll paste it, because if there is something, I see that some of the solutions are containing some errors. So accordingly, we need to correct them too. Okay, because majority of the solutions I have not tested actually. I have tried to find out the solutions and recorded them there, and that later on I thought during the classroom itself I'll be checking them. Okay, so generator has been deprecated and has no effect and will be removed in the future versions. This has come up recently, but the documentation itself is not talking about that it has been discontinued. This is what I am finding. Okay. And dry
7, I guess it will be depreciated, sir. It was there on the note.
It would be?
It was there on the note of Kubernetes document.
Yes. At the point, below there's a note, and it will be deprecated at some point of time. Okay.
1.7 depreciated.
But when it is right now, here I can see that is deprecated in version 1.2. Okay, kubectl run generator. Okay, except for run pod v1, it says. Okay, so this one is allowed. Otherwise, generator in general is discontinued. Okay, so this is the.
Sir, sorry, sir. Yeah, sir. On that page, you mentioned run -pod. What exactly that means?
Okay, you can generate the following resources. The purpose of generator is basically it fixes. You can generate the documentation says you fix it to a specific version. Okay, why you use the generator keyword?
Anna.
Okay, generator keyword. Generator, you can generate the following. No generator. There is one documentation where it precisely says what generator does. Generator flag to pin specific behavior when.
So you follow something?
Yes. Basically, it is to pin flags. Okay.
No, the point here what I'm talking is about the flag parameter, right? So -- generator parameter for the run pod is still active.
You are actually keeping it pinning it to a specific version. Okay. So there it is, pinned to specific generator version such as kubectl run generator deployment version 1 beta. So in fact,
so this is specifically to the API version v1. So when we have that YAML file, the first line which mentions about the v1, this is the particular flag that helps to have that particular entry there.
And also there's group run pod V1 and this one is the run pod. Okay, that is run pod must be a group there. Okay, in version 1. So each of them you will find there is it could be an app, it could be something like that. There is a subdirectory subgroup named run pod. So there it would be sticking to version 1, sticking to that group API. So basically, it is primarily tries to pin down the version. Okay. So that's why I opened this page also, refer this page too. And usually you should always, when you come across a new term or new something, some of the things that is not very clear, you should always go to the Kubernetes io.page and type the particular term itself. You'll find the required clarifications. Even if you have got the clarification today, there is a strong likelihood next time when you come across it, you'll forget the term. Okay. So naturally you need to find it out. So all the time, make sure you refer to this page regularly. Okay. So let's find out whether the file has been created or not. nginx-critical.yaml. It has been created, whether it is there or not. Okay, yes. So
system to off होगा
system. Vitalik, could you please switch off your audio?
Sorry.
Okay. So thank you. So here it is. So the file has been generated. So had these parameters not been used, what would have been different? Let's try to find that out. Okay. This is the command we executed. Let us remove this pod v1. Okay. Generator, how it would be different from the generator 1? Is it any different? -o dry run. And this says you must do a dry run equals to, dry run was the earlier, newer version suggests it should be dry run equals to client server or none. Now it is forcing, earlier it was saying client server or none. Now it says you have to put it specifically using equals to. Okay. Then again, we are exposed to a new set of confusion. What is this client and server? In fact, I had to got this clarification because I was also seeing this error. Earlier Kubernetes version, we are not exposed to that anyway. So could be dry run is duplicated. So is it any difficult? I just forgot to change the name of the file anyway. nginx-critical.yaml. Okay. Is it? I should have generated two different files. Okay. So I should be critical2.yaml. The first command was this. Let us know this one as critical1.yaml. Okay. So now let us try to find out a diff between the two. Okay. diff -naur. Okay. nginx-critical.yaml to nginx-critical1.yaml. Okay. So absolutely nothing. There is no difference between the two. Okay. So what's the point using this generator minus run pod? Okay. Hello, are you all following me?
The reason you're using this generator is basically to pin down to a version, isn't it?
Yes.
That was my understanding.
Yes. So, but when we are running the command without this, I mean, if I have run the NUR command, I can show you using Vim also, Vim nginx. This is one of the file critical.yaml, and we are also going to open the other file using vsplit. Okay. I just wanted to verify whether it is making any difference between the two. Can you see any difference between the two? Absolutely nothing. Okay. Not a single line. So what was the use of using generator? So possibly that is one of the reasons they are increasingly discontinuing these parameters. Okay.
So can we run this command in the exam without the generator option, or we are expected to?
In earlier versions of Kubernetes, all these questions and answers, they are prepared taking earlier versions or older versions of Kubernetes. As we are getting exposed to newer versions of Kubernetes, that is, this is the first time I'm delivering something on 1.18. I see that many of the things or these parameters which are deprecated are becoming increasingly superfluous. That's why I exposed you. Okay. I can see line by line everything is same, and that's why I have run the command diff minus NAUR. Okay.
And one more question here.
Yes.
You said dry run. So when you say dry run, you're actually just doing a dry run.
Yes.
In the sense you're actually checking the result of the YAML file being created.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
So how is it being created? I'm just lost there because.
Okay. No, actually, when you do a dry run, what really basically happens, even if you do not redirect to it, dry run means whatever that you will do, it will throw as an output. I said throw it as an output in YAML. Okay, this will throw an output in YAML. Okay. So because it is dry run, so that's why it is not doing anything. You will see that it has not created any deployment. If you do a kubectl get deployment, kubectl get deployment, okay, basically you can say it's a, we are creating Nginx critical. So that's why, that means this is not getting generated. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Run. Okay.
So it just did a dummy
yes.
dummy run of the YAML file.
Yes, okay, dummy run, smoke test, the way you run. Okay.
Right.
So dummy run, and it is throwing the output as a YAML. Okay. So if you want the output in JSON, you can put a JSON. Okay. It will throw the output in JSON format. That's all. Okay. So
that's really good. Okay.
Okay. So it's up to you. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that many of the parameters that they are changing so fast, even everybody is finding it very difficult to keep pace with. But yes, I am exposing to all of this because I have faced these problems and I sought the solution or answer to them. So the way I got them, so I'm also showing that to you. Okay. So because Kubernetes is changing very fast, and in the subsequent version where operator is coming into the picture and operator and CRDs are going to make the majority of the things, are going to influence the entire functioning of Kubernetes, things are likely to become even more complex. Okay.
Raise hell.
Yes, because if you are not exposed to CRD and COs, okay, that is operator thing. And that means if you have worked on OpenShift version 3.x and not version 4.1, you may not understand what kind of complexity it has now entered into. Okay. Anyway, so let's not go into that. This is our, so we have created our YAML file, isn't it? Cat nginx this critical.yaml. This is our YAML file. We are going to, either we can do an SCP, this YAML file to the remote system, okay? Or we can pretty much copy it from here itself and create a new YAML file where, as we know, the static pods are always as defined in the static pod path, okay? So you can sudo grep minus I static, sorry. Again, the making the same YAML. Okay. So you see the path is defined at etc Kubernetes manifests. So this is defined to be the directory where you define all the files that should be created, for which you expect a static pod should be created. Okay. As I said earlier, static pod configurations should be here in this directory. So Nginx critical YAML, possibly I was trying to experiment with that. So that's why it is already here. Okay. So Control D, I'll log out of this system. Rather, I'm going to do it on worker 2. I have one more worker, that is this. Okay. So sudo minus I. Here ALS / etc Kubernetes manifests. Is there something there? No, there is nothing here. So, okay, here I am. I'm going to create a file. If I try to kubectl, not really, vim, we are going to create a new file. The name of the file, I am also going to name it as same, nginx critical.yaml, and there insert, copy it from here and paste it. Okay, let me paste it. Paste it here. Okay, what really has happened? Okay, we are expecting one more pod to be up and running. What is the name of this pod? Nginx critical. Okay, so now if I do kubectl get po minus all namespaces, Nginx critical worker 2 on in worker 2 Nginx critical is running up. So if I try to find out this, okay, where it is running, okay, and it is running in the minus default namespace. Okay, so I can control K minus N default, and in the default namespace itself it is running. -o wide. Okay, so this one is running on which node? It is running on worker 2. That means we have created the file on worker 2. The moment we create, we have not done anything. We have not started any pod as such, but the moment this file is available, what really has happened? A new pod has come up. So, and this static pod, even if you delete this pod, this is expected to come up again because this is a static pod. Let us delete this pod. Okay. So kubectl, okay, delete this pod, not -o wide.
So this pod will exist till your YAML file, the deployment YAML file exists. Yeah.
That for if you delete it again, if I do, okay, you'll find a new pod is coming up pending. Okay, so it is coming up. Okay, running. It has come up. So this is the truth with static pods. Static pods always gets created. So static pod path is already defined for your kubelet service. And if it is defined, anything created in that particular folder, in our case, it is ITSC Kubernetes manifests. This is the folder. If you create a file here, now if I delete this file, okay, rm nginx critical.yaml. Now that it has been deleted, so is it still running? Okay. Now it is no longer running. The moment that file is deleted, that pod is also going to get deleted. So this is the fact with static. Okay. So at any point of time, if you want to run a static pod for any specific reason, Okay, as you become a master of Kubernetes more and more, and your real life problem prompts you to create or forces you to come to a scenario you are forced to create a pod which should be doing a specific set of purpose, running a specific command from a node. Okay, in that case, you can create a static pod within that particular node. Okay, so this is one great tool as and when you come across a specific problem. So I should be putting the answer also for this. So I don't know whether I have updated the answer or not.
No, you haven't. You haven't.
Okay. Usually, if you fail to make sure to run this, usually this you don't have to do because Kubernetes examination itself does not create that much of problem for you. Okay, so don't bother about that. But yes, why I have done this, the reason is in the event if you face any problem, then you may well have to in the real world kind of scenario. For example, the static path itself is not there in your kubectl configuration as such, kubelet configuration. So in that case, if you update that file, in that case, you need to restart that. Okay, restart your kubelet service. Okay. So here is our static pod example. So that has been done. Can you take a, yes, please.
I have a, probably, I'm trying to make a wrong connection, but I think I will ask you this. But yes, the question is, the static pod, can it be also the init pod as well? The first question, what we saw, can it be an init pod as well?
Okay, no.
It can't be.
There is no. Actually, init pod never comes into existence. Try to be comfortable. I'm going to cover init pod again. We'll come back to init pod again because it appears to me that there are some confusion with some people also because they have raised me the question, what is init pod? Init pod, basically, whenever you are trying to come up with a pod, let us find that, let us try understand you are trying to come up with a WordPress pod. Okay. Now, before the WordPress pod comes up, you want to make sure at least a MySQL server is running and reachable. Okay. Right. So before creating the WordPress pod, you create a init pod. Okay. That init pod, possibly using BusyBox or any other image, you can create an init pod that will just query whether the MySQL database server host is reachable or not. If it is reachable, it will immediately exit. Okay. And once it has exited, your system original WordPress pod will come up. So the purpose of the init pod is to make sure that one condition is met, that a MySQL server is up and running. And once it has verified that, it will allow the other pod to wait till such time the MySQL pod comes up. Init pod will force you to wait. Okay.
Like it is like depends.
Yes, depends. Yes, you can say it is precisely that terms. Unless this condition is met, I'm not going to launch my actual pod. Init pod, life is ephemeral. Ephemeral in the sense, I have come here just to make sure a condition is met. Once the condition is met, I don't have any business, I will die. Okay, that's the way. That is the life cycle of an init pod. Init pod, so that's why an init pod never comes into existence. That's why I said, the moment the init condition is met or the actual pod has come up, the init pod is dead. And your static pod is just the other way around. It will come into being and it will exist for that perennially, okay, continuously, till such time you remove or delete the YAML file from the default location. That is, etc Kubernetes manifests. Okay.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Sir, regarding the static pod, I have a question. Like we copied that particular any file to that particular location, like CTC, etcd Kubernetes manifest, right?
Yes.
So basically, how would I look at the pods and tell that whether it is a static pod or not?
Okay. No, whether if you
because there would be many pods, like
yes.
So is there any way around?
No, there is no way around as such, but yes, you can pretty much see a static pod is usually created in the default namespace. Okay, so in the default namespace, whatever that is created, usually they're related to Kubernetes cluster environment. Okay, either kube system or default. These are the two namespaces where whatever, I mean, kubectl, not say get po minus all namespaces. Okay.
Default. Okay.
Minus all namespaces. Okay, that will tell you all the pods that are running. Of them, usually default and kube system, these two relates to your Kubernetes cluster infrastructure. Of course, these two namespaces with the emergence of operator and all has multiplied by 50 times. Okay. So, okay.
So basically this like kube system, all these are kind of an static pod only, right? Means they are running on all the nodes. So even if one of the dies,
not all of them are static pods. Static pod for master, they are not static pod for nodes. Are you getting my point? So majority of them are mostly running on your Kubernetes master. Okay. For example, API server, controller, and all these, they are static pod for your this system. But kube proxy, etc., they are not static pod. They are known as, they are also running on all the pods, but they are not created using static pod. They have created with another set of things named daemon sets. Okay, that we have not covered as of now. Okay, but
sir, as you, sorry for interrupting.
Yes, it's not right. No problem. Tell me.
As you said that this particular static pod is like, even if someone tries to delete it, until unless the file is deleted, it won't have any issues.
Yes, it will automatically come up. See, on your master, there are a lot many static pod entries. Why? The master is expected to run an etcd database, and it is expected to run a kube API server, a kube controller server. Okay, and it should also run the kube scheduler. All these pods are a must for the master, because then only it would be able to dictate the terms as the leader of your entire Kubernetes cluster. So that's why these files are already there. These are expected to be running as static pods all the time. On the other hand, here you don't find all this. The reason being, they are not master. They are expected to obey the orders for what received from the master. Usually the master is going to communicate to the kubelet, or the kubelet will ask instruction from the API server. Okay, API server is responsible for everything, and it communicates to etcd to store current state. Kubelet on the client system is the agent using which all the instructions are communicated to the client. But the client should also run certain things. Okay, all the time. What is that? One thing
kubelet.
They should, kubelet is a system daemon. Other than that, it should run certain pods. As I have shown you, those pods are primarily all namespaces. If you take a look, there will be some other, okay, proxy. These proxies are running on all the nodes. Okay, Kubeproxy, they are responsible. Yes.
I'm trying to understand here, like we created a pod, and like pod is the smallest unit, right? So what happens like if we do like a role upgrade or to that pod, because we have anything, like it can be any image update to that pod and we try to make the changes. So how those changes will happen? That is I'm trying to understand here. Like you're creating a deployment file here, like it is to serve, right? I mean,
It is, you
basically
are
that.
not creating a deployment file, you are creating a pod file. Okay, you can see that we have created not a deployment, we have created a pod. Because if you take a look at the nginx critical file, nginx critical, okay, and that will say that what is it, we are creating only a pod, not a deployment. Anyway,
so is it like only for pod? That is what, like, or it can be a deployment also?
Possibly could be a deployment too, possibly. I'm not really too sure with the current state. Now the entire architecture of Kubernetes has changed altogether in the current version or upcoming current version. Why? The reason is now all the static pods are also going to be deployed by something other than these named operators. Okay. And your concern, how they are going to be updated, rollback, rollout, all these things will then be done by the operator. And operators will be managed by the operator lifecycle manager. That itself is another component that is that has already come up with the latest version of Kubernetes, that is already in use for Kubernetes much more advanced distributions like OpenShift, where everything is now getting deployed with an operator. Operator itself is not a pod, not a deployment. It basically keeps track of whatever with the current version, whatever the current version that is now running here. Accordingly, it will update, it will manage the entire life cycle of a system configuration or cluster related pod. Okay. So if any of the pod is expected to manage the entire life cycle of the Kubernetes cluster, then you have to create a custom resource definition named CRD. And that CRD will be responsible for deploying your Kubernetes or cluster operators or CO. And those COs will be responsible for managing it. So whatever that you are seeing today right now, this is an intermediate or changing state of Kubernetes cluster architecture. Is it all right?
Yes, sir. But what will be the use case of static pod? Like as you said, something like from the particular node you want it to push out. So is it like monitoring agent or something that can be as a worked as a static pod here?
Okay, you
Means
can.
I'm just use case. I'm
No,
not.
no. Just imagine if you are running a Kubernetes cluster. Cannot there be any scenario where you would like to ensure that that system should be running at least one pod? I can tell you one scenario. If you are using ELK stack or bits, okay, so in ELK stacks, bits itself can connect or collect data or log files using log shipper, bits log shipper. So you can create a static log shipper pod on that worker node itself. For you have some specific reason to create that on that particular worker node, because that worker node is residing in such a geolocation which requires verifying certain specific things. So you are going to create a log shipper, or it could be a Prometheus node exporter kind of pod.
Yes, yeah, I got it. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for that. I got your point.
Okay, so there could be so many reasons. I'm just just a few.
No, to get it into more context, like
yes,
what it
I
is.
got it. Thanks. So there could be so many scenarios where you may well require a specific pod on a particular worker node in real world. Okay, so having said that, thank you for relating or raising questions. Don't be uh, reluctant to raise questions, okay, because you are doing a favor whenever you are raising a question. Okay, thank you. So let's get down to our next. So before that, should I take a 10 minutes break at least?
So I think you haven't saved your file. I'm sorry. I keep
yes. It's no, you don't need to be sorry. Whatever request you do, you are doing everybody a favor. That's the okay. It's all right.
The paste bin, you haven't actually saved it. Looks like.
Yeah, I have not saved it. Okay, I'll make sure that I have saved it. It appears that the solution has been saved. That is the last one is this one, no? Static pod, isn't it? Static pod has already been saved. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll also again copy this in the chat window as such.
No, sorry. It is updated. Yeah, thanks.
Just refresh your page. So I'm just taking a 10 minutes break. I'll come back.